the states have been so key in this activity, and there will be need for us to really recognize some of them. And I would want to recognize the Chief of Staff to the Kogi State Governor and representing the Kogi State Governor. If he's here, please, can he please stand up for recognition? Thank you very much for coming. Here is Mr. Joseph Daniel, please. Thank you very much. We also have in our midst from Bauchi State, Alhaji Magaji Dohwa is the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Housing, representing the government of Bauchi State. Thank you very much. We also have from Anambra State, Chief Surveyor Law Chimumba, Honorable Commissioner of Housing and Urban Development, Anambra State. The representations from the states, I'm sure there are a lot of them. Those that I have not recognized, please pardon me. I'll do that when I have your details. I would also want to put on record in our presence the Managing Director of FMBN, Mr. Gimba Kumu. Please, can you please stand up for proper recognition? Thank you very much. We also have the Managing Director of Sun Trust SC, Mr. Mohammed Jibril. He is here, please. Thank you very much. We have our Director General SEC, Ms. Aruma Ote. Please, can we give her a big round of applause? I have also my Director General, Budget Office of the Federation here with us, Dr. Bright Kodu. Please give him a big round of applause. We have from Niger State as well, the Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Lands and Housing, Dr. Peter Sali Sarki. We'll give him a big round of applause for here. Thank you very much. We have the Managing Director of ASO Savings and Loans, Mr. Hassan Usman. Is he here with us? Well, I'm sure his representations are here. We'll give him a big round of applause. I'm sure we'll continue with our introductions. From the African Development Bank, we have our country director, Mr. Usman Dore. Please, can we give him a big round of applause? He's here with us. We're also aware of our permanent secretary, Minister of Lands and Urban Development, Dr. Ezekiel Oyemomi. We'll give him a big round of applause for being here with us. Thank you very much. We have directors from the Ministry of Lands, key officials from the sister ministries, Ministry of Water Resources and other Ministry of Finance, and our international representations, representative from JICA. Please, we welcome you. We'll give you a big round of applause. He's there with us. I don't have his name, but you're welcome. Now we'll move next to the next. We also have the Managing Director of Nexim, Mr. Robert Oya. Please, can we give him a big round of applause here? Thank you very much for coming. Honorable Minister, we would want to move next to the next aspect of the program. And we are at the stage of comments and testimonials. I have with me 3 young people who are coming. I would want to also recognize the Managing Director of the Nigerian Police Mortgage Bank, Bola Adiboye. Please, will you stand up for recognition? Thank you very much. Thank you. I would now want to call on the Honorable Minister for Lands and Urban Development, Mrs. Akon Iyakenyi, to please come forth for her presentation. Please, a big round of applause for her. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. MC. You butchered my name. You have to come for tutorial. The correct pronunciation of my name is Akun Eyak-Enyi. Mrs. Akun Eyak-Enyi. Thank you. the Honorable Minister of Finance, my sister and friend, Dr. Mrs. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the Honorable Minister of State for Finance, the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, the permanent secretaries here present, particularly the permanent secretary of Ministry of Lands and Ministry of Finance, the commissioners of lands from the various states here present, directors from federal parastatals, particularly directors from Federal Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development and Finance, the DGs, stakeholders from the housing sectors, members of the international communities, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. I want to join my sister to welcome all of you here today to this great epoch-making occasion. I want to also add that the launching ceremony of the federal government's first 10,000 mortgages for the affordable housing scheme today is a milestone for this nation. Today is indeed a remarkable day in the calendar of the administration of our President, His Excellency President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, in the quest for a repositioned and vibrant housing sector. It signals the progress that has been made since Mr. President officially launched the Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company, the NMRC, in January 2014 as part of the transformation and strategic steps to scaling up mortgage penetration, access to affordable mass housing, and increased homes for Nigerians. It is therefore gratifying that today we are witnessing the actual rollout of the first 10,000 mortgages under the scheme. I feel highly honored to be part of this significant step of the NMRC program today with my sister, the CMA, who has worked tirelessly over the last few months to get us to this point. I also wish to congratulate all those who have put in so much time and effort in bringing these important projects to life, particularly the implementation committee, Sony, Dr. Chi, my directors. During the last public holiday, all of them were on deck. None went home, none traveled. They were sitting down, cracking their brains on how to make today a successful date. To that, I want to say thank you. The Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development is committed to providing all the necessary inputs to see that the program, the project is successful for the kickoff, which we are targeting to undertake come August this year. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to report that most of the states we have approached for land are highly disposed to the success of this program by making secured and viable land available for mass housing development. The governors we wrote to, some have started sending in the certificate of occupancy from the states. And I also want to use this medium to stress that the few that are left to send in their own documents should do so without further delay. It is important to note that pre-qualification for the mortgages is a crucial first step to home ownership to enable you benefit from these affordable houses when they hit the market. In other supportive ways, my ministry is pursuing complementary activities targeted at bridging the current housing gap and the success of the Nigerian Housing Finance Program, for which we have recorded modest achievements in vital areas. In the recent past, our president has commissioned several estates, both in partnership with the private sector and funded by the Federal Mortgage Bank and the FHA, that's Federal Housing Authority. They include the Aviation Village, the Elim Estate in Enugu that was commissioned just a few weeks ago. Others that are waiting commissioning to also tie into this project are the estates in Lugbe, in Kubwa, and also in Suleja. All these are measures that have been put in place to ensure that the vision of the present administration as it affects the housing sector is achieved. The ministry is also working closely with the private sector, the Real Estate Development Association of Nigeria, REDAN, professional and regulatory bodies in the housing and urban development sector, and other key stakeholders to further increase the national housing stock and effectively address some of the factors militating against housing development in Nigeria. Just like the CME said, the launch that we're doing today, the mortgage, is not for construction. And so we are working with the partners, we are working with the developers who will come in partner with us, and then the mortgages is being handled by the NMRC. So we encourage other developers to also tie into this. The enabling framework for the successful delivery of affordable housing in Nigeria is also receiving necessary impetus through addressing the issues in land administration and management aimed at ensuring that landowners have secure titles and bankable assets. Since we are expecting the private people to come in, by the time they have their land, the process of having the titles, which usually take a long time, we are doing everything possible to ensure that it is shortened, that they can have these documents to enable them proceed. Efforts are also being intensified to update and upgrade the land database in the country. The ministry is handling that. In the nearest future, we'll be able to state categorically that in Nigeria we have X number of houses, which will be able to, we'll use that to equate to the population, and there we'll be able to confirm actually the deficit that we have to be able to handle the covering of the gap. The adoption of the alternative building technologies is also being encouraged by the ministry. Most of the developers that we have coming in, other than the conventional method of construction, have come in with new technologies which will be faster to put up a structure and also cheaper. We are encouraging them to come in with such a technology. We, however, we have furthermore repeatedly underscored the need for the development of professionals, artisans and craftsmen in the housing sector in order to have more good quality and functional buildings. Yes, that has been a great need in the country. We have our youths roaming the streets, looking for what to do, looking for employment. And yet, when it gets to building, we go outside the neighboring states to bring in artisans. The ministry is looking deeply into this and training our young ones to be involved in the building sector. I want to conclude by encouraging you all to buy into this program. I am confident that with this giant step being taken here today, the desired revolution in the housing sector will soon be realized, and Nigerians will have cause to appreciate the drive, to appreciate the work of the present administration. I want to welcome all of you and say God bless.